6 months ago, I told you that the M5 MacBook Air was the best value computer for everyone, and anyone looking to buy a new laptop from Apple should pick the base model M5 MacBook Air. But 6 months later, well, Apple made a huge change to the MacBook lineup, and the verdict now is way different. So, don't buy the M5 MacBook Air anymore, buy the MacBook Neo. That's the current best value MacBook in the lineup. Let me explain why. The current MacBook Air is an incredible machine. And for the older price of $1,000, it was the perfect price point. Yes, not $1,100, $1,000, because you could grab it with the education discount. Now, Apple has increased the prices for $200. Yes, it's a big shame that Apple has increased the prices of the MacBook Air, because before that, this was the best value machine. The hardware, the keyboard, the trackpad, the display, the overall quality, the build quality, the thinness, the weight, everything was in favor of this computer. This was the perfect laptop, and even the price was incredible. It was probably one of the best deals in tech. And if you wanted to buy a laptop, even for a Windows computer, this was it. Just put a virtual machine there with parallels. You have an incredible, versatile computer. But Apple has increased the prices. It now costs $1,300, and my base recommendation has changed. Not because the overall value of this machine is worse, not because this hardware out of the sudden is outdated, but because there's a computer that only increased the price by $100, and in my opinion, now justifies the difference. And that's the MacBook Neo. The gap between the MacBook Neo and the MacBook Air has increased. Before, the MacBook Neo costs $600, now costs $700. Before that, the MacBook Air costs $1,100, now costs $1,300. So you now have $100 more difference between the two computers. This means that the MacBook Neo's value has increased relative to the MacBook Air. And before, it was really tight because both computers offer a lot. Both computers are made of aluminum. Both computers have incredible keyboards, the Magic Keyboard. Both computers have the same trackpad. While the MacBook Neo does click, is a physical trackpad, the MacBook Air has a Force Touch trackpad, but still, they are both very similar. The display is both 13 inches, while the MacBook Air has a bit brighter and a bit more sharp display than the MacBook Neo. But overall, both computers are incredible value. Nowadays, the only difference is actually the chip. This has the M5 chip, a fully fledged MacBook chip, while the MacBook Neo features the A18 Pro, the iPhone 16 Pro Max chip in reality. So, before, that difference justified for me to upgrade for the MacBook Air for most people. You get a bit better hardware and you get a much more powerful chip. But nowadays, those people that don't actually require that extra performance have to pay a lot more, like $500 more, $600 more in some cases, just to get the MacBook Air. And in my opinion, that extra money does not justify buying the MacBook Air over the MacBook Neo. So my current recommendation for the MacBook lineup, the best value MacBook available, is the MacBook Neo. No doubt about that. Obviously, this also applies to the MacBook Pro lineup. If you before bought the MacBook Pro base model because you thought that was an amazing deal at $600, now you should buy the MacBook Air, because this computer is still really good, probably matches your needs in terms of performance, is the same, features the same M5 chip as the base model MacBook Pro, that now costs $2,000, guys. The base model MacBook Pro has increased to $2,000. So my recommendation for those looking for that price point of $1,600 is now the M5 MacBook Air. This is now the computer for you, not the 120Hz MacBook Pro with incredible I/O in that super bulky design. Now, the MacBook Air fills that price point and is the one you should buy. And this leaves the base model 14-inch MacBook Pro on a very strange place, because for $2,000, the deal, I don't think it's worth it. Don't buy that machine. I think that at that point, you should jump straight to the M5 Pro MacBook Pro. It costs like $300 more, and for that extra money, you are grabbing an incredible GPU performance. You are grabbing way better performance overall with the M5 Pro, and it can do a lot more. So if you are spending $2,000 on a laptop, you better be a professional, so buy the M5 Pro, not the M5. I think that the jump in performance justifies the extra money relative to the full price. It's less than 15% of price increase from one to the other. And so this changes completely the scene on the MacBook lineup. Before, the MacBook Air was the best value machine, everyone should buy it, everyone should pick the MacBook Air. Don't buy the cheap MacBook Neo, although it was a really good value machine, because for an extra bit more, you could grab this incredible MacBook Air with the M5 chip, which is way more powerful. But now, with the price increase of $200 for the base model MacBook Air and even $300 for the other computers, I don't think it's worth it. although the MacBook Neo increased the same amount of money relative to its main price, around $100 for like a $600 machine, that's a lot, the MacBook Air increased $200 and even in some cases $300, and that's a lot. So I don't think you should grab it. I think that the M5 MacBook Air right now is a computer for those looking for a bit extra more, for those that looking for the extra performance and they need it for the everyday job, while the MacBook Neo is a computer for everyone. The MacBook Neo is a computer for most people. Their web browsing needs, their AI needs even, email, and even doing remote work via web browse apps, this MacBook Neo now is the choice to go. You don't have any limitations with the A18 Pro. I've tested, I've edited my 4K YouTube videos on it, no problems. Although doing very intensive workloads, like for long periods of time, you will notice the difference. The MacBook Neo is still the best choice for those bursty workflows because the A18 Pro is more than capable of doing it, and you will notice incredible battery life while doing it. The battery life on the MacBook Neo is equivalent to the M5 MacBook Air and the M5 MacBook Pro, even though it's a tiny machine. That's a very impressive accomplishment because with such a tiny body, such a tiny battery, that battery life is amazing. One thing I need to say though is that still, with the price increases, the M5 MacBook Air is still a way better option than any Windows computer out there. Don't buy any Windows laptop, even if you want Windows. Because with Parallels, I have a video on that on my channel, with Parallels, you can use Windows easily with no restraints on a Mac. And still, whenever you need it, push to the side and use the Mac OS. Just like that. And even Windows integrates now with coherence mode on Mac OS. Everything is really well built, everything is really well integrated. No, this video is not sponsored. I really enjoy their service and I think it's totally worth it for those looking to buy a MacBook Air or even a MacBook Neo and you still hard tied to Windows because you can't switch. So check that video out to see why you should still pick the MacBook Air or MacBook Neo for using a Windows machine. The Mac Mini also increased the price by $200 and the M5 iMac also increased their price by $300. Both machines increased their prices by a lot, but I don't think my recommendation has changed because both still offer very unique things in the computer world and I think they are unmatched. So yes, it's a shame they are no more expensive, but they are still an amazing value. And so let me know in the comments below which MacBook are you picking right now with the price increases. Are you still choosing the more expensive MacBook Air or are you following my new recommendation of buying the MacBook Neo? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. Next video will cover more recommendations for the new iPad lineup and to finish off the new iPhone lineup. So subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss those videos. They are coming next.